The challenge we had was that we had so many different positionings that we'd come up with. We have a fairly complicated product, and we had come up with, I think, 12 or 15 different positionings, many of which, some of them were, oh yeah, we know we're not going to use that. But other ones were like, well, that's good, and that other thing's good, and they're completely, opposite, and we don't want to say all this thing because we believe in having a single point that consumers can hold on to about the product. A lot of times in the past, we have used the PR firm to actually pick the messaging, because they would come in and they'd say, well, this is what a journalist wants to hear, so that'll be your messaging for this particular feature release.
We selected Zoom because we've talked to other agencies, PR folks, ad agencies, and we think that positioning is a craft in and of itself. Positioning for a story or positioning for an ad is very different than what's the positioning of the overall company. What do you do? What are you trying to achieve? Who are you?
When we went back to our board after the Zoom process and said, well, we've had a lot of suggestions for what our positioning can be, and this is what we've come up with Zoom marketing, we got very enthusiastic reactions. They're like, oh yeah, slash the web, that sounds great. Slash text search, yeah, well, of course, that's absolutely it.
I think the point when the light bulb actually went off on my head was when I actually took the recommendations and then went out and started incorporating them into my pitch and started talking to other people, and I watched their reactions on their faces. And when I could see that this was something that was resonating with them, then I said to myself, gee, yeah, I think we have it right here.
I always approach interactions with consultants with some amount of skepticism. Like say, well, I don't want to be too hopeful that this is going to provide all our answers. And I was actually surprised at the end of the Zoom process, because it really was like, oh wow, they actually came up with the right answer. This is amazing. Like, everyone in the room thinks this is the right answer. Our board thinks it's the right answer. It sounds like the right one. It tested well in front of random audiences that we pulled off the street. This is pretty cool. I actually got my value from this interactions. Zoom marketing is the best positioning firm you can find.